It's season 47 now, and this is the first season where I am actually switching my regular path. I am doing path 8 now. I switched battle groups. Our alliance did a complete rename. We're now called like the Book of Vishanti or something like that. But it's the same alliance, we just changed our name, changed our tag, all that fun stuff. But we moved, I moved to BG2 instead of BG3 where I always was, and I just moved into Path 8 in the process. But what hasn't changed is I'm using a bunch of the same champs I was using before, where I'm playing Elsa, Tigra, and actually I think Chavez is new. I don't think I took Chavez last season, but she is really good for Path 8 for a lot of fights, and she's going to be really good for one I have coming up later. But for starters, we have this Sandman on Node 8, and they did place with recoils to make it easier, but it's a really easy fight to begin with, so it doesn't even matter. What we want to do is parry their dash attack to trigger our counter evade, and that will place the taunt because the counter attack counts as an intercept if you get their dash with it. So we just were using that to get the taunt up, and yeah, that Sandman went down. So next up we have Tigra versus this Galan on node, what is this, node 17? I don't remember the numbers very well, but I think it's 17. But it's really easy. The only thing that could possibly make this fight go wrong is if Galan's AI just doesn't want to throw his specials, because we need him to throw his specials while he's neutralized, or else we're kind of in trouble. And yeah, we're just baiting them. He finally throws it. He does get a Fury from personal space, but that's not really that much of an issue. He does resist us a couple times, but we're doing fine. We're gonna miss the SP2, do the first 2 hits, cancel the third into the special 2, and yeah, the SP2 just wipes him out. So that's just a Tigra versus Galan matchup for you. Okay, so we move on to section 2, and we're going to stay on path 8. This is a pretty easy section 2 I have, but first we're going to start with this Spider Gwen, and she is on a opportunist node, which really doesn't matter because she doesn't really gain buffs. But we're going to be taking this with Elsa, and the way you want to play this fight out is you want to bait and evade once, just slow combo till she evades. And then you can place a Frostbite, which will prevent the evade as long as it's active. So then you're basically under control for the rest of the fight. And yeah, so we're just going to bait her special ones. I don't really need the taunt all the time for it because it's a pretty easy special to Dex. I didn't get the intercept there, but I got it there. And of course she's going to evade the hit that I need to place with the Cold Snap, and she evades it again. And I'm like, okay, can you just not evade the one hit I need to land, and then you're locked for the rest of the fight? Whatever, it's fine. We're going to go for the SP2, place 2 Incinerates, but it really kills her pretty much anyway, so. Next up, we have Hulkling on node, I couldn't tell you. It's like 35 maybe? I think it's 35. But I would love to Tigra this fight, but it has Force of Will, and Force of Will makes the defenders immune to neutralize. So I have to use Chavez here, which isn't that big a deal, because obviously she has really good power control for this type of thing. It's just a bit longer and a bit less safe. I should have thrown on an indestructible boost. It was really dumb that I didn't, but whatever. Because the fight does get a little hairy a little later. You'll see that. We throw the SP2. Unfortunately, I threw part of it into the indestructible like an idiot. And of course, I'm going to get caught on a dash back and just lose half my health. So that's great. So now I'm kind of freaking out. I need to get some heavies because my dimensions are falling off and his power gain's getting out of control. We get 1, and ideally we get 2. I almost whiffed that one. That would have been really bad, but I threw the SP3 right when the indestructible fell off. It's going to do a good bit of damage because we have a bunch of dimensions. He has a bunch of buffs. So it does hit him pretty hard, not nearly as hard as an SP2 would, but good enough to where we can really finish him off in just like one combo really. Once the indestructible goes away, he's pretty much dead. So that did get a little scary, but it's fine, and it was my only Chavez fight, so I don't have to worry about healing her up later. Next up, Node 37 Thing, a fight that I took at least like 9 times last season, and it's pretty easy here still. This is a lower rank thing than some other ones I've fought, so all I need to do is just do my SP1 dex shenanigans, and then we're fine. The only other thing I have to worry about is not letting my neutralize fall off when he's above 15 and then hitting him, because then the unstoppable is going to trigger before the neutralize will, so I won't actually be able to prevent it. So I have to make sure that if the neutralize falls off and he's at 15 or higher, don't hit him, just find a way to bait the special. This guy did plays with recoils as well, which, you know, it just helps. It's not that big a deal. But he dies super fast anyway, so didn't really matter. Okay, so now that that fight's over, we have another fight that I fought like 9 times last season, and that is Node 42 Gorr. And I must say, this is actually like the best Node 42 Gorr fight I've ever done. Considering I've taken this so many times, for some reason this one went like the cleanest I've ever done it. Because sometimes it does actually get kind of hairy. One time I survived at like 10% health. I'm not sure if that was last season. I think it might have been last season. Either way, we just need to bait his specials, ideally with the neutralize on, just in case that if we do get comboed and he double mediums me, he doesn't have a lot of shadow magic to make it hurt really hard. We counter his heavy attack with just like the perfect spacing, and then we throw the SP2 while the protection is off, and it just does a massive amount of damage. And then we're gonna heavy, and then like the SP1 right after is just going to kill him. So or he throws an SP1, which works too, because we just counter that and he dies. So yeah, that was like one of the biggest Gorrs I've fought on that node, but also one of the cleanest Gorrs I've fought on that node. So, alright, last up is Node 49 Photon. I kid you not, I only soloed 1 out of the 4 Photons I fought last season. And this is going to be like the most perfect Photon I've ever fought. It's mainly because most Photons I fought last season were placed on Node 28, which is just a really annoying placement. And it means I can't really use Elsa. Maybe I can to out-despair the healing, but the healing is just crazy on that node, so I never actually tried it. I would use like a Moon Dragon or a Mega Sentinel. I probably should have tried Elsa at least once last season to see how that fight would go, but then again, I'm not playing Node 28 anymore anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But either way, this Photon is going really well. I'm about to push her into pure light form, meaning I need to chill for a bit. I can take the block damage if I want to by getting the taunt up and then just blocking SP1s. I am taking brute force damage, so I did just kind of go for it at the end here. Just try to end the fight as fast as I could, and this SP1 is basically going to close it out, and then we just throw another SP1 right here, and that does close it out. So that was like my best Photon fight I've ever done in war. I don't know why I couldn't do something like that last season. Either way, we did win the war. Well, technically it's not over yet, but we're winning by like a very, very large margin. So I'm recording this in the morning before the war ends, and then I won't publish this till later in the day. But it looks like we're about to, like, I don't really see a way that we could possibly lose this at this point. So good start to the season for me, good start to the season for the Alliance, and I'm really happy with how my fights went and how my path went so far. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.